else. But besides all that, guys, uh, some more opening notes for you guys. We got some cool stuff coming into the Innovators Think Tank website. Be sure to check it out. I know most of you guys that are here already are. Be sure that if you haven't yet, make sure your profile is already set up and you got the check mark filled out so I can connect with you guys on the website. It's super cool. Make sure you're posting what projects you're working on. Try to connect with some people and add them to your team. It's going awesome. We got some t-shirts on the way too. If you guys saw that on Josh's profile, coming out here soon, as well as a new logo. But yeah, it's been a very awesome weekend. Super relaxing, great R&R. But Alistair, how was your weekend, brother? I know you're probably busy setting up the stream, but how was Thanksgiving?
It was good. We were just mostly pushing some Pixie updates in the last few days.
Very cool. Alistair, I know you're setting up in the background, so I'll give you a break for a second. We're going to try to do this incredibly quickly this morning. I do have a space at noon, so I might have to duck out a little early if that happens. But it's really important that we got this session done because there were some loose ends and we want to make sure everybody is caught up for Wednesday. So if you were not here on Wednesday night, this is the time. Make sure that you're logged in, that you have your password set, and you figured all that stuff out. It's going to move a little fast. And then after this week, or I think it's this week, I'm not sure, after this season, put it that way, there will be a little break so that you can kind of go back and sift through all of the previous seasons, which I think is really important. It's kind of a tradition that this time of year, after all the garden beds are put to bed, for the season, and, you kind of have this firewood all chopped and everything's all ready to kind of hunker down. You spend this time planning. It is a time for planning, December, January, February, before spring. And you can sit back and really reevaluate your business model, what it is that you want to accomplish, and then sift through all of the new skills that you've acquired and how you're going to be putting them to use. It is a time of, hurriedness, for lack of a better term, especially if you have lots of family and, you have the Thanksgiving and then the Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever holidays that you celebrate during that December month that it can be brutal. There's no question about it. So we're going to start hopefully on time here today. Alicia is going to hit the ground running, and we've got Cyril here. I see Katie's also here. So without much more fanfare, Alicia, are you ready to start, friend?
Yeah, we could start.
All right.
The live stream should be up by now.
Very cool. I'm looking for it. We will, at your leisure, put it that way, and make sure that we have it for the recording. I do know that there are a handful of folks that do want to come, but this is a weird day for them. They're used to Thursdays, and so they already have all of their Mondays planned out. So we do know that there are going to be quite a few people listening in on the recording. So just for everybody's benefit, we understand, we know you have real lives and things like that. So, all right, take it away, Alicia.
All right. So last week we launched our final template, the one that we're going to use for the rest of the season. It's like a full PHP template with a database. So there's a few things we're going to need. Now, the first thing we're going to need is to, of course, put the code there. Right. So every time we typically start with File Manager and actually uploading the code base to where it needs to go. Now, in File Manager, remember, we're going to have everything in the public HTML folder. And then in here, I have a Season 5 folder. Some of you might have a different folder, but it's where we've been putting all of our templates. Well, we have these 3 folders here, and we can add a 4th one here. So I'm going to add a folder. I'll call it 4. You guys can call it whatever you want, just as long as you remember and then are able to get back to it. And then here we're going to upload the zip that we had for last week. Let's see. I'm trying to remember where I had it, SaaS version. Yeah, this template might be a little bit bigger. There's a few things in here that we're going to need. And there should also be documentation in here. So if you're ever stuck and you don't know where to go, you could always refer back to the documentation. Now, whenever you upload something into cPanel, it's probably going to be a zip, so you want to extract it. That's just how you transport thousands of files at once. It's the fastest way. And typically, a good practice, even though we don't really need to care too much about it, is actually moving this as close as possible to the highest level of folders. So we're going to need to move these up. Now, some things to be careful about here. Something that we mentioned is the hidden files. So you're going to notice that I have this htaccess file. If you don't see this htaccess file, that means your hidden files are off. So what you want to do is you want to go to settings in File Manager in the top right corner and just make sure that your hidden files are enabled. That's important because this htaccess file actually tells the code how to direct somebody when they get to your website. And then sometimes you would have the env file here as well. So just want to be, I guess, mindful of that. Just remember whether or not you have it on. So for me, I'm going to move this up one level, actually up 2 levels. So it's in the folder called 4. Nice. Now, also in here, we have documentation, we have a video, and we have SQL. So you want to grab the SQL, we're going to need that later. This is our database. So we're going to have to create a database and then populate it using this file. And let's see what's in documentation. Okay, so in documentation, I think it's just a link. Let's check it out. It'll be useful for us. Cool, so there's a few things here that it talks about that are important. So hosting server, what PHP version you have. You're going to need to create a cron job. So it's able to run certain things on a schedule. And then it goes through installing the project. So let's see. This documentation is text-based. However, if you prefer step-by-step, okay, when downloading files, have to access files. It wants you to import the database. So these are all the things that we're going to do right now, actually. Now, we have our, let's see, we have our folder, number 4, but what we want to do is we want to create a domain. Right, so we want to create a domain so it's easier to access this. So if you have your own domain, you can point it here. In my case, I'm just going to use this domain that I have here, Alisher Test. And creating a domain is pretty easy. So we're going to go to domains. We're going to click create a new domain. And I'm going to call this, let's see, I'll call this agency dot or AI agency dot Alisher Test dot CSI program.org. And now what's important here is you don't share the root, and instead you want to point it to the right folder of where your code is located. So I need to point this to season 5/4 because that's where all of my code is. That's where you see this htaccess file that we've moved with all the rest of the files. Okay, and this is something you can change, by the way. So if you mess this up, you can always go back and change it. You don't have to recreate a domain. This is one of the only things that lets you edit. And remember, at first, this domain is not going to be secure. So we can give it like a few minutes. It'll get secured. That's all automatic. Okay, we have our domain. It's pointing to the right place. Now, if we look at the documentation, we can start reading through some of it. We uploaded files. We have SQL. Now let's actually upload the database. So the easiest way to create a database here is to use Database Wizard. This is going to take you step by step. This is typically how you would launch a PHP platform. You're going to have a database that you need to connect. You're going to have a domain that you need to create. You're going to have files that you need to upload in a specific place. And then it'll all connect and work. So I'm going to name this something unique, so I'm able to get back to it in PHP So we'll call this AI agency. The full name, if you notice, is going to be Alisher T _ AI agency. Everybody has like this prefix in their database names that starts with their username for the cPanel. And now this is the user that will access the database, so we can follow the same name. So Alisher T _ AI agency. Now, password, you guys can generate a password. If I generate a password, I'm going to have to save this somewhere. So let's do generate password. Then I'm just going to add it. And okay, cancel. Let's use this password. Once you create a user, this is the important part. This user is useless without all the permissions. So you want to grant the permissions, meaning that the platform will manage all these things. The platform has like an admin side where you can create users, you can manage users, you can create different personalities and whatnot, and all of that is typically stored in a database. So this database essentially needs to be like self-managed almost. And then you'll just click either one of these blue buttons that look the same. Make changes our next step. And now we have our database, but it's empty, right? So the way we see these databases in a way where we can actually interact with them is called PHP So if you're in this databases section, PHP is where we're actually able to interact with the databases. And then here, you guys will notice, here it is, AI agency, and it's empty. But since this is a database, right, it's SQL, and I have an SQL file that I want me to import, I can just go to import, choose a file, and upload this AI agency.sql file. And it should start to populate. Perfect. And here, you guys will notice, immediately got populated. I have categories, I have credit packs, I have languages, prompts, all sorts of things in here that are already existing. Even the user, I think that's the admin user. Yeah. Okay, so now we actually have to connect this up, right? So we have to connect this this database to our platform, our code. That's how it's going to be able to read the database and populate it, all the personalities. Okay, so if we read the docs, it's telling us if you try to access the website now, you'll see a failure message. So to fix this, we need to go to admin class and edit config.php file, which will contain the connection to our database. So let's go and check that out. Admin class and let's see, where is this config? And here's the config.php file. So when it comes to documentation, I would even recommend taking this whole thing and throwing in an AI tutor and maybe having it make it a little bit easier to read. But otherwise, it's useful because here you have things like prompts, so you're able to navigate the admin panel and actually change all those personalities to the ones you created last week. And now here, we got to start filling in this database information. So we know the database name and the database user. We kept it the same for consistency and ease. So host, local host, meaning that the database is on the same server as your code. That's fine. User, we know we created this user, Alice_agency, and we know the database name is also the same. That's what we created just now. And then the password is whatever database password you have created. So for me, it's this long, weird, jumbled up password. Okay, let's save. And that should be it. Now we should be able to actually access the website and it should work. Let's double check with the docs to see where we are. Yes, so save the file, refresh the page. If everything is correct, you will see the site functioning. So let's try it out. Where is my domain? Domains. I'm going to go to the domain that I created. Make sure it's HTTPS. Perfect. And immediately you're going to see everything is already set up. Here's all the people. Here's all the categories. This is all being pulled from the database, but what's good about this template is there's actually an admin panel. So if I go to /admin in my URL, I'm going to be taken to the admin panel. Let's check that out. I'm going to go to the URL. I'm going to type in /admin. And here I have the admin login. Now, to do this, access the administrator panel of your website, then use the following default login credentials. So there's even default credentials that it already creates for us. Something you should definitely change once you log in. Okay, nice. So now we have this warning. Attention, you need to configure your OpenAI API key. Okay, let's see what the docs say. The docs say to do this, we need to go to settings, and it should be the first thing there. Let's check that out. Here I have settings on the side menu, and here's the OpenAI key. Here's also where you can set up your Stripe. All right, now you guys should remember this. This is from the last 3 weeks that we did this with the other templates, and it's pretty much how you want to log into your OpenAI account. Now let's see if I have a key somewhere else. I don't want to reveal the key on stream. Oh, I know. I'll do it here on the other screen. Platform that OpenAI. And remember, this key, OpenAI specifically, once you start talking to it, it is going to charge you money. So you want to have maybe like $5 in there for testing in your account. And just be mindful, of course. I think this has a setup where it has premium versus not premium. So you're protected in that way, but you want to just keep in mind the usage. Right? You never want to run up that bill. So things maybe like auto reload, like auto credit top up in OpenAI, you might want to disable that for now. All right, nice. And don't forget to click save whenever you put your key or whenever you make any changes here. Now, from this point on, the platform should work. So let's chat with one of our AIs. I should have some credits, so right. Hi, tell me about SEO. Yeah, there you go. It's using 40 Mini. 40 Mini is cheap and fast. So that's working. Now, some other things you guys are gonna we'll probably set up this week is actually Stripe and reCAPTCHA. That'll prevent some bot access so people don't buy your website. But some things in here you can start working on is like header options, like homepage. You can edit these theme colors. Let's see what else. Maybe not as many things here, but I would say the main thing you want to work on in this case is actually these prompts. So you have prompt categories, right? You can clean these out and make these the categories that relate to your AI. And let's see where we have our prompts. There they are. Okay. And then prompt is, of course, these personalities that we have. And let's actually check out one of them. So let's check out Ryan Johnson, the first one. Okay, so a few settings we have here is, of course, you have target language, English, it's good. You can translate into a different language if you have the Google Cloud connected. We have our description, welcome message. These are all the things you guys have been filling out in your JSON files. If you remember, you had each personality. Each personality had a description, a welcome message, a name, a title. Here's where you can add your categories. AI training part, this is your system prompt for this personality. So what does this specific personality do? How do they respond? If you don't want people to see the model, you can disable it. Right now, your options are limited to GPT. So if you don't want to, I guess if you don't want that, you might want to go to some of the code and figure out how you can edit it to use Open Router. If you don't want people to talk to it, you can turn it off. You can select what kind of voice this has. You can even check, it's going to pull all the voices that are available that are free. I think this uses your browser or your computer voices. So if you're on Mac, it might be different. This also has vision. So you're able to upload images here. And there's some things like tone as well. These are all editable from your menu too. So if you want to see what emotional, professional, what all of these tones are, you can actually check them out and tell. Right, each one of these is going to have its own kind of little bit of a system prompt as well. And make sure whenever you edit something, you click save. Now, these are free, but let's see how we can edit that. So free meaning people don't need to buy a credit pack. The way this platform works is it has credits that your users would buy, and then they would use those credits to chat. But it's kind of how most of these platforms work. If it's not a monthly, it's credit based. So here, let's actually look for where we have that option. Because right now it's set to free, but we should be able to actually change it somewhere in here. Let's go to one of these premium ones and see how it's done. Right, it's called package. Actually, doesn't look like I can edit it here. Maybe I'm missing it with my eyes. And if I can find it here, of course, I can check out the docs. Parameters. Let's see what else we have here. Here's where you can edit these credit packs. Ah, there you go. Looks like you can edit from here. So if we want people to be able to buy, I guess, a credit pack and have a personality related to a credit pack, this is where we would enable it. So let's say this Ryan Johnson, for example. Let's turn that on. And let's save it. So there you go. He is now VIP, just like the rest of these. As soon as you turn it on in credit packs. And now just to talk to him, you have to buy a credit pack. And of course, there's these few free ones that you can also change, right? You pretty much want to, whatever personality you want to be premium, where they have to pay, you want to add it in here in the credit packs. It's cool. It also sets up a little bit of a tier, right? You have the $5 tier, the $10 tier, the $15 tier, and up. And of course, you have that $30 tier that includes all of them. Okay. Do you guys have any questions so far?
I'm not seeing any, Alisher. I'm not getting any in DMs also. So for those that are in the listening audience, we're doing the down and dirty today. Just getting it done, getting it did, as they say. So you want to make sure that if you do have questions to come up, but we're reserving it for the folks that have been in class so that we know that it's not just kind of, abstract kind of questions. We save those for the after school sessions with Kirk and Sharon. So just giving you a heads up. Hey, I see you, Morgan. Okay, Alisher, I'm not seeing any as of yet. I'm monitoring the back channels. If you do have a question later on too, you can always add it to Slack, folks, just so you know. Go ahead, Alisher.
Yeah, and then here's some of the theme editing as well, right? So we have this theme skin where we can change all the pictures. We no longer have to go in the code and start changing pictures. So here we have the icon. Let's see what kind of icon I have that I can put in here. I think we made one. Here you go. I have my logo. Same thing. Right, so if you already made this for the previous template, you can just start filling it in. There's the background hero image. I think we made one too. Hero. Hero image. There's the header image that we created. And here's all the secondary colors that we can also edit. All right, so this should really be the first thing you edit as the theme. So your app immediately looks different from the rest of them. I'm gonna go with this red theme. Then you have header, footer. You'll start changing all of these. Now, another thing we have here is card style. So when you're on the front page, what does this personality look like? So we can change that to card theme 2. And then here's all the other images. So you have a sign-in page and a sign-up page and the forgot password now. If you check those out, here we have sign in. So we want to edit this image as well. And then we have sign up and the card. I think for now, I'll just edit these to be one of the images that we've created. Maybe like one of these. And don't forget to save. So now, if we refresh, should already start looking different. We have our little Hogwarts thing going. We can keep editing some of this. So there's the blue on the header. Let's start changing that to red. Then you have the same thing with footer. So if we scroll down, we're going to notice the footer. It's also blue. So these are really the things you want to focus on before we meet on Wednesday. And then when we meet on Wednesday, we'll cover some of the things you guys haven't really seen yet, which is setting up Stripe, actually setting up these credit packs, and turning this into a full-on managed platform. So let's save. Let's see how these colors are reflected. There you go. And you can just keep going with these changes, right? So looks like here I have some more style changes to change it to from blue to, let's say, red. So menu, text color, just be a little bit of a lighter. Hover, also pretty light. And background. So you just want to make sure that this theme is consistent. For me, I'm just reusing these same 3 or 4 shades of red. Just easier. You can do the same thing. There's a little dropper here that I'm using where you can just point to the color that you want. I'll leave the green. And now let's do this one. And you'll see as soon as you change everything in this theme skin, you're going to immediately feel like your app is different. Okay, looks like that's all the colors. Let's get a refresh. Yeah, so now these chat buttons are red. I think inside, when I go to chat, let's see. The rest of this theme looks fine. Looks pretty standard. Okay. And now, of course, if you really want to change these smaller colors, like chat with AI team, you probably need to make that in code. Although we might have it on the page somewhere. All right, that's another thing that we covered as pages. So this theme, this template, besides just having the actual prompts, it has these extra pages. Maybe you want like an about page that you want to add. So here they already have privacy and terms and conditions. So you can like add a new page, and this could be an about page, for example. And you get this WYSIWYG. or if you wanted to add a privacy policy in terms and conditions. And we also have posts, right, for a bit of a blog. And I would just say, watch out. You want to start filling a lot of these in. And if you're not interested in having a blog, what I suggest is actually getting rid of it in a menu. So there's menus, and these are all of the little menu links that you see on top in here. And so if you don't want a blog, you can actually turn it off. There you go. Now, blogs are good for SEO, but sometimes, if you're just trying to keep this platform to AI chat, and not have a blog in here, you could have a blog with WordPress. That's something that you have an option for with cPanel. And the WordPress blog is just way easier to manage. Of course, there's also some SEO, right? All of the meta titles, descriptions, these are all the things you want to edit before we continue. I'll say on Wednesday. But these are all the first things you pretty much do when you get a template is make the theme and all the verbiage related to your specific, I guess, tone and your specific overall concept. Let's see. Any questions so far, guys?
That's a negative, Alisher. Go
And
ahead,
just to
Cashman.
clarify real quick, Alisher, with the SEO, we're going to be doing it this Wednesday, but we can start doing it now if we want to.
Yeah, I would just say get out of
should
the
we just
way.
wait?
I would just say get out of the way because it's really just filling in these descriptions, right? It's nothing special. There's nothing you need to connect here. It's purely just text.
Okay, that's what I figured. And I'm guessing AI Twitter is going to be just, it'll streamline this process even faster because it'll probably know the best words to use.
Yeah, it'll know the best words to use. You could also say, I want to target this keyword, right? If you're trying to target a specific niche. And then it'll try to optimize a lot of these descriptions for that keyword. You could even say, my website name is this, it does this. I'm trying to target these 3 keywords on Google for my search engine optimization. And then you can say, give me the description for all of these. But you see some of these you don't even need to fill out. For example, sign up page. What can really the title of a sign up page be besides like register, right? Or sign in page. There's not really much you could do with these SEOs, but these main ones, like the AI team page and this main title and description, that's really what you should focus on. And also the logo. I think this is the social share. So whenever you share on social media, you want to make sure that it has the right logo and the right color. Right, so whenever you send somebody a link and like a little image pops out, the description, you want to make sure that those are correct as well. And it's not sending the AI agency template logo. But yeah, these are some of like the non-destructive things that you can start doing immediately as soon as this is up and connected to a database. Now there's a lot of things in here. So for example, problem categories. So maybe what you want to do is turn most of these off, and then kind of as you fill them in, enable them, right? Because ideally, you're probably not going to have 30, 40 categories. You're probably not going to have 100 personalities. We'll try to stay within of whatever we have already done. So we're not spending any more time on these prompts and these, I guess, these AI personalities because we already have them. Let's see, are all of them here? No, this is in 2 pages. So if let's say I wanted to disable some of these free ones for now, I can do that. Realistically, I think we have talked about having 8 to 12, right? Because they fill in the rows of 4. So realistically, you maybe just want to have one free one. So we'll keep this as the free one right here. And then you want to have 12 that are enabled. So this is free. Here's one that's enabled. Here's 2. It doesn't matter what they are right now because you're going to change them. You just want to kind of organize this a little bit for yourself because there are a lot of personalities in here. So let's see, I'm going to go for 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess that's the free one, 8. And the rest I really don't need. All right, I can start turning them off. It's just a good practice. This will clear it up. As you guys remember, in week 3, we try to focus on 8 to 12 of them instead of 100. It's a little bit more doable within our time frame. I'm sure with the AI tutor, and within a few hours, you could probably fill in all 100, but it's still a lot of manual input. Even this, you could probably go in the database and change it that way, but let's just stick here to this front end. Right? They give you this admin panel. Might as well use it. See page 2. And I'm disabling these instead of deleting them because it'll make it easier for us to get back to one of them and edit instead of creating a brand new one. You'll see where everything is. You'll see where the description is, the title is, the name. Otherwise, if you were to start with a new one, it's kind of hard to navigate a new one because you can't go to the website and see it. And I know it's a little tedious, kind of turning all these off, but I highly recommend you turn off the ones that you're not going to use, which is most of them. It's going to make your website look not so crazy. So let's see. Okay, so now it should be much smaller. There you go. We have 1 free, and then we have 7 that are paid. Now we have all these categories that we can also turn off and maybe just keep it to 5 or 4 categories. So let's go to prompt categories. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll keep it at 4, and I'll turn off the rest of them. All right, this is how you downsize this app. Otherwise, it's pretty hard to manage. Sometimes less is better. Okay. So now our category should be just the 4. Might need to go into style and edit this to be centered. Or have 8 categories. Or however many. 7. To make it look nice. 2, 3. Okay. So now let's go through setting up one of them. Try to set up this first free one. So I'm going to go to prompts. I think last time this was Voldemort for us. So I'm going to go to edit and actions. Be careful not to click delete. It's right there next to it. Let's start setting this up. Or Harry Potter. Why not? Harry Potter. And from what I remember, we have already done this description welcome message. So I'm actually going to navigate back to that app. I think it was number 2. We've done it. And then here in the JSON, if I go to prompt, I should be able to see my Harry Potter from a few weeks ago. Oh no, this was Oracle. Right. So I think Harry Potter was the first one for us. For me. That was my first example. But yeah, this is why we did these JSON files. Now you already have these personalities set up. Oh, wrong thing. You already have these characters, and now it's just about editing. So here I have description. I have welcome message. I can just start filling it in. The UI UX, got to change some of these categories. AI training, that's the actual system prompt. So let's see what it was for us. Okay, now we have this image. I think I have a picture somewhere. Let me see. One sec. Yeah, there you go. We'll keep the model S40 Mini for now. That's the cheapest, fastest one. We'll keep the voice. We don't have Google Cloud set up, so you might want to uncheck this until you set it up. Image reading. So if you want to enable this, you could. But remember, the first one is the free one that we are setting up. Okay. Now be careful whenever you do speak to the platform, it's going to use Whisper, so it's going to cost you money for it to get transcribed and sent to the AI. So be mindful of that. That's something you want to disable. And then maybe for the free one, tone and writing style is not something you really care about. Maybe that's something that actually messes with your prompt. Then here are the suggestions. So whenever you start talking to one of these personalities, oh, I think I have to refresh. Yeah, hang on. Let's see where these suggestions. I think these are the suggestions right here. This little light bulb. So you want to edit those as well. But really all it does is just paste the question in. So you can have like 4 or 5 in there to kind of like move the user along and see how they want to edit that. Okay, so that should be all good. Let's save it. We'll do save. It's going to take us out. Here's the first one. And just like all the previous platforms, you refresh. There's not a lot of cache issues like the other platforms because this is kind of pulling it directly from the database. It's live instead of a JSON file. So what you end up getting is actually this instantaneous change, which is good. And now you guys just got to fill in the rest of them with what the research and the personalities you have created in the previous weeks. Now, one more thing, I would just say, check this out. You see these packages here? What you want to do is you want to go to packages, so credit packs, and you add a personality, a prompt in here to the credit pack. So let's say if that I wanted to change that free one, I would go to the credit pack. I'll click on it and I would say you have to buy at least the first $5 pack. So you have to spend at least $5 in order to use Harry Potter. Right? And immediately you're gonna notice is that as soon as I go back and refresh, here it is. He's now a VIP, meaning that he's no longer free. Chat, and they have to pay at least $5. They have to buy at least the first credit pack in order to chat with him. And then to keep chatting, you have to buy credits. Okay, let's see what else there is. Let's check out settings. Right, some other things that you're going to notice here. You can make everything free. There's free mode. You can see how many chats are available before they have to log in. So here says 4. You can set how many credits the person gets as soon as they create an account, right? So maybe they don't necessarily have to put a credit card in and buy something. Maybe it's just on initial creation, you give them some credits. There's a lot of things here that you can check out. Let's see what else is here. There's VIP. Display prompts on the price screen. Use higher purchase tier, okay. Display free prompts and package. These are all fairly standard. Nothing we need to really change. Number of AI to show on the homepage. So here's where we can limit this, right? So right now we only have 8. Right now we only have, I think, 7 categories. If you want to get rid of dark mode, if you want to get rid of sticky header, these are all the things that you're able to do in these settings. Let's see customer. Oh, you could even mess around with the emailing. All right, guys, any questions so far? The main things you want to edit is the theme and the prompt, right? That's what we have actually covered in weeks 1 through 3 is actually editing what it looks like and how it functions. And then the upcoming ones that we're going to set up all these other things like Stripe. We're going to take a look at custom CSS maybe. We're going to go through some of the other things you could do to make it look different. Oh, they even have Google Analytics. Gosh. Yeah. The rest of this looks good. Okay, any questions before we cap it off?
It's kind of out there, Alistair, but what is the point of the Google Analytics page?
Well, Google Analytics, this is a website just like any other, right? So once you connect Google Analytics, you'll start seeing analytics in here as well. So who visited your website, first and foremost, and then that mixed with sales and how people actually are using your website. So it's good to see where your customers are coming from, what pages they visit. You can see like, I guess there's, if you pay for like the extra premium analytics, you can even see like the hotspots on your website where they click the most and then optimize that. So let's say if they all go to that one first personality, then you might want to make the other personalities a little more enticing, a little more useful for them.
Okay, awesome. And just like a follow up, I was just looking at it. So Google Analytics costs money pretty much. Like if
Google
if you want,
Analytics costs money if you're trying to do those like crazy conversion things, right? where you're trying to convert whatever analytics they're doing into sales. But to start with, they're free and they provide you a lot of information on the visitors. Like pretty much as many things as Chrome can capture down, they'll provide you with. It's really just when it comes to actually converting that, or actually like maybe going to Google AdSense and creating conversions there. So that's mostly what it costs. What costs money? I think the hotspots. So the big one is actually capturing the hotspots where people click. That ends up costing money.
Okay, awesome, sweet. I've never used the paid version before, so I'm gonna have to take a look at that and maybe try it out. It sounds pretty insane. If it's got like all that tracking. Not I can see why people don't like giving Google their cookies and privacy and such now a little bit more. But I mean, Alistair, great job today, man. Did you have any last little things that you wanted to cover or that came to mind? I don't want to.
Yeah, I would just say keep in mind for this Wednesday, what you want to focus on is theme, SEO, and prompt categories. These are just prompts. Don't really worry about categories. You can always do that later. But theme skin, SEO, prompts, and that's going to make your app for these initial stages different enough for you to kind of like start going out and saying, hey, check out this app where you can chat with developers, where you can chat with designers, or where you can chat with whatever your niche is. And the rest of it, like Stripe and all that, we're going to set up either this week or next week.
Awesome. Awesome. Well done, Alistair. I hope everybody here enjoyed the recap. I know the scheduling was a little wonky due to the holidays, and I appreciate you, Alistair and Sarah, for being so flexible around this and just being able to get it done. And I know everybody that's listening back on the replay as well is going to be extremely happy too. I kind of like that it's halfway in between from last class a little bit, just because I bet maybe some people will too. But I love Thursday better, but I will say it feels a little bit different. Just to get that like refresher halfway through coming into the next class. But we will be back to the regular schedule, guys. Be sure you can see all the updates and the scheduling on the calendar on the ITT website. Sync that. It's super helpful, super awesome. And Alistair, I just wanted to shout out Pixio had a great deal this weekend, guys, for their Black Friday. And if you didn't take advantage of it, you were missing out on triple credits in Pixio. And my God, that's like they're just hooking you up with the cheapest and the most powerful tools available for AI. And I hope you guys took advantage of it. Sarah, did you have any closing notes you wanted to share before I close out here?
No, not too many. I'm just really proud of folks that did show up. I know everybody deserves a vacation after a vacation. So I appreciate you, Alisher, too. This whole entire weekend, I should say, has been populated by TSI folks doing really cool stuff. And so I just want to give my kudos to them. Thank you to Nick, Alisher, and Ross for all the stuff that they do behind the scenes. Of course, Cash Money Kev, Matea, Luke, and Josh Hellman. If you didn't notice, Josh Hellman had a pretty diploma on his timeline. So I thought that was pretty cool. But I am going to duck out. I'm going to start up a space shortly, but I just want to tell you this matters. This is important. And you showing up for yourself, learning new skills, building off of that skill set and creating things is important. And I just want each and every one of you to know that we see you. We see what you're doing. We see your accomplishments. We see your investment in time and energy. And yes, sometimes we see your frustrations, but we also see and acknowledge your wins. So have a wonderful, wonderful day. I'm hoping that the day treats each and every one of you kindly. And we will see you same time, same place on Wednesday. Go on to greatness, folks. Go on to greatness.
Awesome, Sarah. Thank you again for being here. The co-host, one of the co-hosts with the most, as well as Alistair. And everybody go to Humans Make Cool Things, create cool things. They got some awesome like people in there. I'm telling y'all. Sarah brings in like the diamonds on X into her spaces. She's like the magnet for it, and I love that it's something new every week. Her topics are always, just refreshing. I'd say her spaces are refreshing, like a nice glass of lemonade in the middle of summer. Uh, but anyways, thank you again, Alistair. Thank you again, Sarah. Thank you again, all the students that came through this morning. And thank you to everybody that's listening back on the replay. I hope you guys took your notes and get that homework done. And be sure to set that reminder for ITT number 76 this Saturday. We'll see you in class Wednesday, the recap on Thursday, and then Sharon and Kirk's space